Hello everyone, good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. So it's truly honor to be here with you all today, part of Global AI Summit 2025. And AI is evolving at an incredible pace, and business are looking for the right tool to build, deploy, and scale AI solution efficiently. This is where Microsoft AI Foundry comes in, a powerful platform designed to simplify AI innovations. And before we dive into the topic today, let me introduce myself. Myself, Naveen Kumar, and I'm a data engineer with 13 years of experience in the industry. And I have been recognized two times Sharp Corner MVP, and I have hold four Azure certifications. Beyond my professional work, I also contribute to blogging, speaking, and mentor. Passionate about sharing knowledge and helping others to navigate the ever-evolving tech landscape. Today, we are going to explore on the Azure AI Foundry can empower AI innovations and streamline the process of building AI solutions. Let's look at our agenda today, what we are going to see. First, the introduction about AI Foundry, what it is and what it matters. Next, we'll see the architecture. We'll see the components and the structure of it and how AI Foundry works, understanding the workflow, and what we can do with the project and hub, what is the capability in the AI deployment and development, and when to use the Azure AI Foundry, identifying the right scenarios in the AI Foundry option, and the model catalog and interference where we are utilizing the pre-built model and deploying those models and performing the inference tasks. And finally, an open forum to discuss your questions and insights. Okay. So, what is Azure AI Foundry? So, before getting to this, let me quickly give you a short story about this. So, let's take a two engineers, okay, the engineer one and engineer two, who had a vision on building an AI model that could detect early signs of diseases using medical images. Okay, so let's take the engineer one who has what you can say is he is a core developer who has skilled in AI everything, and he spent month in setting up the infrastructure. He's training the models and managing all the deployments and all. Whereas the second engineer too, he's access to the AI Foundry, and what he can do is he can quickly set up an AI hub using the pre-trained models from the model catalog. He can seamlessly deploy an interference pipeline within weeks. Okay, so if you see the engineer one who's struggling with infrastructure complexities, whereas the engineer two focused on fine-tuning the models, analyzing the results, and improving the accuracies, he can focus on these areas. So the difference, if you see here, the engineer one starting from the scratch, whereas the engineer two, he's leveraging the power of AI Foundry to accelerate the innovations. So this is the core difference, and that's the exactly what we are here to explore. How AI Foundry can empower innovations by simplifying the workflows, enabling the collaborations, and speeding up the AI deployment. Okay, so let's directly get into the thing. So what is AI Foundry? So AI Foundry is Microsoft one platform, all in one platform we can say. So it's designed to simplify the development, deployment, management of AI applications. AI Foundry empowers developers to drive innovations and shape the future within AI to safe, secure, and responsible way. Okay, so it consists of two main components. One we can say as a web-based portal, the GUI, formerly known as an Azure AI Studio, and the other one is Azure AI Foundry SDK, which enables developer to work with robust pre-built components. We will see it little more in detail in the upcoming slides. Okay, and when it comes to the capabilities and what we can do, what is the capability of the Azure AI Foundry? It's purely built for the developers. This is completely built for the designed for the developers. And we have 1800 plus pre-built models available in the model catalog. That also I can show it in the later slides. So It's pure, as I said, it's purely built for the developers. What developer can do, right? He can build an AI applications on an enterprise grade platform, and the developer can explore, build, test, and deploy using a cutting edge technologies like an AI tools and ML models. And developer can collaborate with all the team members with the full life cycle of application development, the development team, the testing team, and the SIT, and the final to the live, right? So all teams can be work collaboratively here. And the final is explore wide variety of models, services, and capabilities. So this is all about the what is the AI Foundry and its capability. The next what we are going to see here is Azure AI Foundry architecture. Okay, so at the top level, if you see here, we have 1 minute. Let me take a marker. Okay, so if you see at the top level, we have Azure OpenAI Services, Project, and Management Center. So this is the components provided in the architecture for an Azure AI Foundry. So the OpenAI service, which provides an access to the latest OpenAI models, where we can create secure deployments, we can try the playgrounds, fine tune our models, we can content do the content filter, the content safety, and we can do the job enables as well. So that all we can do it with the OpenAI service. And when it comes to the project, so the project provides access to the model catalog. So it's a base where we can use all the pre-trained models and we can build our own custom AI applications. Okay, that's where the project comes in. And the management center. The management center streamlines the governance of management of Azure AI Foundry resources such as hub projects, and we can have a connected resources, and we can do all the deployments as well. So this is about the management. And the project and hub, these two are the core components of Azure AI Foundry. We'll get into detail what hub is, what project, and what we can do with hub, what we can do with project, what are the features it gives. Okay, so let's get into detail in the upcoming slides. And we have Azure AI resources as well. So all the individual services like a language, speech, content safety, vision, everything it comes under one AI resources in AI Foundry. So you no need to go and separately use all those services. All are integrated in Azure AI Foundry. We can directly use it in it Foundry itself. And we have Azure Open AI resources as well. So all the LLMs we can directly integrate it in the Foundry. So this is a architecture about the AI Foundry. And next, we are going to see how AI Foundry works, right? So as I said, the core component is hub and project. Okay, so these two are the main components when you are going to work in the Foundry. So first, we'll see what is Foundry Hub. Okay, the hub, it's a top level resources in Azure AI Foundry portal. When we log into the Azure AI Foundry, right? So we'll see first the hub. So when you're going to create a project, the first thing you need to create a hub, and then only we can go ahead and create a project. So it's a top level resource in the Foundry, and it's all based on the machine learning service. Okay, so even the project and hub both are built on the machine learning services. So if you see the project and hub uses the machine learning resource provider, it's Microsoft dot machine learning service workspace. So this is the resource provider it's getting used. Okay, and what hub provides, what kind of feature hub provides, if you see, uh, we can create a security configurations in the hub, including the managed network that spans project and model endpoints. And we can do the compute resources for interactive development, where I said the fine tuning the models, where we can use the open source and serverless model deployments. All those comes in the hub. And we can have connections to other Azure services such as OpenAI and Azure Services Search, and we can have a hub scoped connections shared with the projects created in the Azure Foundry project. And we can have the last one is the project management. So under project management, where you can have the hub can have more than one projects. So one project for development team is working on one project, and we can have a project for the healthcare the domains. The project can have other logistics domain. So the one hub can have multiple projects. So and the final one we can say is an associated Azure storage account. Also, it's included in the hub where we can do a data uploads and artifacts as well. So this is all about hub and what we can do it in the hub. And when it comes to the project, so when I say hub is the top level resource, and definitely the project will be the child resource. Okay, it's integrating all the hub connections inside the project. And what are the features project will provide? So when you see what are the features project is providing, so where we can access the development tool for building and customizing a applications. I said about the model catalog, right, where we have a pre-built models. So where we can access those model catalog and integrate all the pre-built LLMs, and we can build our customized application in the project. And we can use the components like a data sets, models, and indexes. So when you are building your own a application where you want to restrict to use your own data sets or the company related or organization related policies, so where you can upload those documents and you can restrict your application to be specific to those documentations or the data sets, so that you can do it. And the isolated containers can do that. So within a storage, it inherited from the hub. So that's an isolated storage. And the last one is the project scoped connection. Okay. For example, a project member might want to have a private access to the data stored in an Azure storage account. So we need to give access to him without giving the same access to the other project. So he will be having only the dedicated access to the project which he is working on. So that's a project scoped connections, whereas we discussed about the hub scoped connection as well. So that's one. And we can have the open source models as well. That they can be integrated in the model catalog that I can show it in the upcoming slides and the demo as well. So this is the how AI Foundry works. And the next is what we can do with Hub. So using Hub, what we can do. So if you see an Azure AI Hub is the foundation for AI development project, right? Where we can enable the developers to define shared assets that can be used across multiple projects. So using that, so what we can actually do, a developer can do in this hub. Okay, so a developer can create a member and assign a roles to specific project, and he can create a manage compute instance on which to run the experiments for the custom codes. Also, he can create a resources and manage connections such as data stores, GitHub. You can get the code from the GitHub and you can utilize it. I can show that as well. And you can use Azure AI search indexes and other services as well. And the final one is the policies, right? So security and the governance point of view. So where we can define the policies to regulate the behavior, including the automatic computer shutdown. Okay, so these are all the activities we can perform in the hub. And when it comes to project, what we can do, right? So project and all the AI development, right? When you see in the Foundry portal, when you see when you're performing all the development related or the project related work, so it all happens in the project. So when it comes to the developer point of view, what he's actually going to do in the projects, right? So he can deploy the large language models to support chatbot or the copilot. He can test the models in the chat playground, and he can add own data to argument prompts, and he can use prompt flow to define flows that combine some model prompts and custom code. And he can evaluate the models and he can fine tune the models. And as I said initially, where we can have a data set, the data store, where we can upload the custom data sets and make the models to be specific to the data set what we have given. the organization specific data sets. And we can have a content filter. So the content safety, it is integrated into the Azure AI Foundry. So earlier the content safety was a separate service. Now it is already integrated into Azure AI Foundry. We can utilize the content filtrate moderations very usefully here. And we can use the Visual Studio Code in the browser to create a custom coding. So that also I can show it. We can see that one. And finally, we can deploy the whatever the models we created the application using a web app, or we can deploy it as a containerized service. So this is all about what we can do with the project. So till now what we have seen is we have seen what is AI Foundry, and we have seen architecture, the top level resources like project management and the OpenAI services, and we see about how AI Foundry works, right? So the hub and project, and now we saw what we can do with hub, what we can do with project. And the next what we are going to see here is when to use Azure AI Foundry. So we all see what it is and how we can use it, but when to use it. So that's the main thing we want to see, right? So Azure AI Foundry provides everything for a developer, and data scientists as well need to develop AI agents, cutting edge technologies, or you can readily available models which you can utilize, and where we can build a responsible AI applications, right? So when you want to see when what we can do or when to use it, so the first one is create and manage AI projects, right? So in Foundry it provides a centralized hub for all your AI projects, so allowing to manage all the resources and collaborate with the team members as I mentioned earlier, and streamline your workflow. So we can see a prompt flow, so where we can go ahead and decide all our workflows there. And the second one is develop generative AI applications. So when it comes to generative AI applications, our goal is to develop an application that can generate content or build our own prompt flow. Azure Foundry generative AI capabilities are essential for this. And the third one is explore available AI models. So we can experiment with various AI models available from the OpenAI, Microsoft, or other vendors as well in the model catalog. That also we'll see it here in sometime. And the next one is the RAG, retrieval augmented generations. So the projects that requires the combining the power of RAG, AI Foundry can have the features that enhance the quality and relevance of the content generated. And the fifth one is the monitor and evaluate AI models. So here the Foundry provides a robust tool for evaluating and monitoring your prompt flow and AI models, ensuring that they meet the desired performance metrics. So we can see there is an option in the model catalog compare models, where we can compare more than one models, and we can see the metrics, and based on that we can select the right model for our own applications. And the sixth one is the integrate with Azure AI services. Right. So when our AI application needs to work seamlessly with other Azure services, so a Foundry provides an easy integration, making it versatile choice for complex and multi-phased projects. So we can integrate all other Azure AI services with very easy steps. And finally, build responsibility. So whatever the applications we are going to build, it should be the emphasize the all the responsible AI policies, right? So we have to provide the guidance and the tools to ensure our applications adhere the ethical standards and the best practices. So these are all the features, the things when we are going to utilize the Azure AI Foundry. And the other thing is the ideal scenario where we need a powerful or integrated environment to develop. We can have a AI Foundry where we can have a managed AI applications. Whether you are extending an existing AI solution or building from the new, as initially we saw it, right? The short story, the engineer one building from the scratch, whereas the engineer two utilizing the features of the AI Foundry. So either you are building a new one from the scratch, AI Foundry provides the necessary tools and resources to bring your project to a life. So this is about when to use Azure AI Foundry. And the next what we are seeing is this is the home page when you log into the Azure AI Foundry. So this is how it looks like. So you can see here it will be your project, and here also you can see your project where you can toggle between, if you have multiple projects, you can toggle between multiple projects. I'll show it to you in a live. So here I overview section. This is all our endpoint details and the APIs and all we have, and model catalog, playgrounds, AI services. Agent is the newly added one, which is in a preview state, and we have a code fine tuning where we are going to fine tuning, right? The models and the prompt flow where where I explained we are going to build a workflow, right? So that can happen at the prompt flow where we can do the tracing, evaluating when we saw it in the features, safety and security, and this is like a model assessment where you are going to deploy your models, data and indexes discussed, right? Where we are going to upload our own organization policies or the data sets, and our models can reference that. So this is the place where we can do that. And the next is the web app. So once the models are deployed, so we can publish it, right? So we can publish it like a web apps or the containerized service we saw. So that can happen at here. And this is all happening at the project level. So when you want to go to the management, the hub level means you can go to the management center. You can click here, it will take you to the management, the center where you can see all the hub related activities like quotas and everything. It will be there. It's completely purely for hub things. Okay, so this is the home page, and the next one is the model catalog. So why we are seeing the model catalog everywhere where we go in about the Azure AI Foundry, right? So the model catalog is the one where we can say it is a library or a hub where we have n number of models, the pre-built, the readily production ready models are available here. So that is the model catalog. So you can find your right model to build your custom applications. That's the model catalog. So as of today, so when I check, so we have 1,837 models available. So we have models from Microsoft, Mistral, Meta, and other vendors as well. We can see that. Okay, so this is about the model catalog. And the next one is the inference task. So inference task, I have just given the very familiar ones, and but we have more than this in the Foundry. The chat completion is the widely used inference task. So where we can have a chat, right? The chat applications, the co-pilots, where we can ask some questions and the model can respond it. That's a chat completion one. Summarization when you have some document where you don't have time to read it, you can put the document and you can ask a model to summarize and it can give you summarize. So similarly, we have a zero shot classification, conversational embeddings, text to image, table querying, answering, image classifications, text to text generation, translations, token classification, question answering, the model which can used only for the question answerings, text generations, and full mask object detection, image segmentation, and speech recognition, where we can identify the speaker who's things, and we can transcript who's speaking. We can transcript it and we can put it into different languages. So this is about the inference task. So I'll give you a small recap because next we are going to the portal and we'll see what's there in that one. So first we saw about what is the Azure AI Foundry. Then we saw about the architecture. In architecture, we saw about the top level resources like for AI, open AI services, project management, and then we saw about project and hub and what we can do with project, what we can do with hub, and we saw when to use Azure AI Foundry and model catalog, and then we saw about the inference task. Okay, so I'll take a pause here and I'll move to the Azure AI Foundry. And let's go to the demo section now. So I'm going to
Visible.
portal.azure.com. So there are two ways you can go to the Azure AI Foundry. So the first one is you can go to the portal.azure.com, and the next one is just type ai.azure.com. So this will directly land into your Azure AI Foundry homepage when you sign in, and this is for the portal.azure. So once you log into your portal.azure.com, so you can just search for Azure AI Foundry. So once you search for Azure AI Foundry, and here you can go ahead and create it. So just let it get loaded. So this is Azure AI Foundry. So I have already created some of the AI Foundry services which you are seeing here. So we can see here we have a hub, and we can have a hub project, and we have a AI services as well, right? So right now for this demo, I'm not going to use this one. I'll go ahead and create a new one. So what I'll do, I'll move to this AI Foundry. It's getting loaded. Let's give a minute. Yeah, so it got loaded, right? So see, we have already a project created, so it's directly came here. So when I want to create a new project, so I'll click here, Foundry. So I'm going to create a new project now. So I'm going to give a name. So I am going to use either a new hub or the existing hub. So probably I'll give a new hub, AI Foundry Demo 101. So that will be my project. And what I'll do, I'll use the existing hub itself, or else I can click new, and you can give, I can give a hub AI Foundry demo. Okay. So next. So I have given the name, and this and all you can leave it. So you'll have your subscription details, resource group, and your location, every details here. So I'm not going to change anything here. I'm going to click create. So what it will do, it will go and create all these resources by default. IA Foundry is a project, and I have a hub. This is an AI services. This is an also AV. We can have a hub, key vault, storage account, everything it's getting created. So let's give a minute to get it created, and then we'll see. So once it get created, right? So as I showed here in the AI Foundry, I'll go to that. So we will get a similar set of resources, the services created once this everything is got completed. So we can see hub is created. Let's give a few more minutes to complete. So once everything is completed, you can just click on this project, and here if you scroll down, once it get loaded, let's give. So here you have a launch studio. So on click this, you will be taken to the AI Foundry homepage. Okay. So let's give a minute to complete so that we can use the newly created project for this demo. In case if it takes more time, we'll go ahead and use the existing one. But let's see. Okay, so in the meantime, I'll just click this launch studio, let it get loaded. I can explain it. And once this completes, we'll navigate to this new project. So the Foundry also getting loaded. So project hub, everything got created. Only we left with the AI services. So this is the existing project which I have already. If you see Naveen Devan 0968, so this is the project, and here also you can see the project. Let me see. Yeah, I think the new one is completed. Probably we can use the new one. So earlier we saw only here Navindevan 0968. Right now we can toggle between two projects. So the new project which we created, AI Foundry demo 101. So if I click here, so here I can see the two projects. So one is AI Foundry demo 101 and the other one is Navindevan, the old one. Okay, so right now for this demo we'll use the new one. So here is the AI Foundry, and here you can have all hubs and project where we can go and do all those settings. And this is a preview feature. On clicking this, what are all the new features getting added to the Foundry? We can go through all this, and if you want to use it, you can turn it on or off and based on your need. And here it's a project level scope, the connection strings, right? The directory, subscription, the project, and resource groups, everything, it will be available here. So you can download the config file as well for all the project and hub level configs, and you can utilize it in your project. So this is at the top, and when you see here the project details where we have a connection string where you want to use this project in your own code, you can use this connection string. I have a your subscription ID, and here you have a manage project settings. So on clicking this, it will take you to the management center. Either you can use this or you can use it here. We have a management center here as well. Okay, so this center part where we can see the endpoints, API key, everything, right? And here we can see the include capabilities. Azure AI Inference. Here you can see the APIs, and here you can see, click on this, it will take you to the documentation. So here we have AI inferences we saw, right? Text completion, chat completion, text generation, so many inference. So if you want to use any one of those inference in your own project, so which model you are going to select and going to perform that inference operations, you can directly use this API in your own code and utilize it. Similarly, for all the OpenAI services, you can use this one, and the AI services specifically for the Microsoft related services. So here in this, you can utilize only the Microsoft related service. Here you can see the speech to text and text to speech endpoints as well. If you want to know more about this, you can go to the API documentation and you can get know about all those API endpoints here. So this is all about the overview in the middle section. And on the left corner, you can see the overview which we sent. And the next one is the model catalog. So we are going to see each and every options when you want to do anything, right? So you can, it will be have a high level understanding everything about it. So this is the model catalog, and you saw in the presentation, we have Y837 models available now. So we have a models from the different vendors, Microsoft. So we can see here on selecting here the vendors here, the collections. So curated by Azure AI, we have 239, and OpenAI service, Microsoft, Meta, Mistral, Grittle, NVIDIA. We have so many. If you see here, we can have a Databricks, Cohere, Snowflakes, Hugging Face. These many vendors we have. Entity Data, Rockwell, DeepSeek, the newly one, it also integrated in the AI Foundry models. So these are all the models you can have. So if you have to any requirement, I want to use only Microsoft related, just click on the Microsoft and it will give you all the models from the Microsoft, and you can select which model you want to use it. Okay, so I'll clear it out now. So the next one is the industry. So this is very short list we have, but in future we may have more industry related models. So if you want to see the models related to the healthcare and the life science, so on selecting this, the models will be filtered out for the healthcare and the life science. So we have the all the science related models from Microsoft, Hugging Face, and the other vendors as well. So similarly, if you want to use some consumer goods, and you can select the filter on here, and you can select your right model for your own application. And next one is the capabilities, right? We saw the capabilities. So agent supported or the assistant support we have here. And The next one is the deployment model. So the right now the majority of the model supports on the managed compute. Only the 75 models are supported by the serverless API. So the managed compute deployment option where we can decide our compute, the resources, infrastructure, everything we are going to decide it. Whereas the serverless, it based on the usage, it automatically take the resources needed. So that's one. And the inference task is the next one. So where we saw right the chat completion. So we have so many here. If you see embedding, speech recognition. So when you are building a application only for summarization or a text summarization, you can just select the text summarization and you will be given the models for the text summarization and you can have use these two models. So similarly, we have for many inference tasks as well here: drug discovery, object detection, data generation, audio generation. So if you see, these are all the things based on the need, you can use it. So let me clear it out. And the fine tuning, the next one is the fine tuning, right? So here you can go ahead and tune your model. So here also we have a filter out. So you can select and can take the models and you can tune it based on your need with the matrices available. Okay, so right now we are not getting into that too technical since it's a foundation. So we'll see what are all the foundation level details here. So we can do the fine tuning here and the licenses as well we have. So whether it's a MIT license or what type of license the models are all about. So you can filter out based on those models as well. So when an organization have a set of protocols to use set of licenses models, so based on the license type you can filter it out. So these are all the filtering options available at the model catalog. And the next one is the more compare model. So where you have two models selected based on your need, but you're not sure which model is right suitable for your project. So the Foundry provides that feature as well. So you can go ahead and compare your model here. So here by default it will give you the popular task is nothing but your inference task, and here you will have a set of models available, and here it will give you the matrices to compare. And if you see the quality x-axis, it's a quality index, and where you can go ahead and change your x-axis for quality. Under quality you have accuracy, coherence, fluency, groundedness, relevance, GPT similarity. Similarly for embeddance we have the scores, embedding average, accuracy, F1 score, everything, cost and latency. The same set of option is available for the y-axis as well, and you can select based on the your comparison needed. So if you see on the y-axis we have a cost per token, and here we have a quality index. For example, if we have some 5 models already pre-selected for an example, and this color indicates the indicator to see which model it is, right? And if you see at the turbo we have some drop down. This is nothing but in turbo we have these many versions available. If you want to do a comparison for each version, that feature is also available. So by default it's selected one. If you want to select this model, you can select that. Okay, so here if you see here this particular llama 3.2, it is quality wise, it's cost wise it's very low, and also the quality is very low. So and the next one is fee, and if you see Mistral it's little cost higher and the quality also higher. And if you want to do a top notch model, you can see here GPT-4o, so it's ranking on 8.85 ranking number, right? If you see the quality index, it's on a high quality and it also comes with high cost. So you can compare this based on the matrices and you can do that. If I want to go and change it for the F1 score, you can go ahead and change it, and it'll take but time to come up with this model. And here you can see question answering. So based on the selection, it will give you the comparison metrics here. If you see here, I selected the question and answering, so these many models got came. So for all models we have, and the top notch we can go ahead and see that GPT-4 32K is the top-notch one in this, and it's not always we are going to take based on our no need. We can go ahead and select which model we are going to use it from here. So this is about the benchmark, the model benchmark under the model catalog. So where you can go ahead and compare your models. Okay. So next we are going to see about the playground. So what is a playground? So playground is a place where we can play with all the models, right? So to test the model, so here is the place, the playground. So we have a chat playground, speech playground, agents, real-time audio, image, healthcare playground, and language. So for example, let's go to speech playground. Let's click on try now and let's see how. So we have a filter out here, speech to text, text to speech, and we have a speech capability by scenarios as well. So let's take a real-time scenario, real-time transcription. Okay, for this it's getting loaded. So here we can transcript the speech and we can record it. So right now I'll select some different language. So probably I'll select Tamil and click record here. So when I select this language Tamil and my audio is getting recorded and my transcript will come here. So see here, whatever we are speaking, it's getting transcribed in the language. So probably I'll stop this and I'll select a different language. I'll go for Spanish. So once I select the Spanish, I'm going to click record. Now in this, from this particular audio, it will be whatever we are speaking, I'm speaking now, that will be getting transcribed in the Spanish language. So you can directly see it's a real time. So we are not going to have any models taking. It's completely a real time. Whatever I'm speaking now, it's getting converted here, right? So you can see it. So I'm going to stop, and it supports all the local languages from the India as well. So you no need to worry about the foreign languages. We can have Indian languages as well. So let's go for an Hindi. So again, so when I click here, so whatever I'm speaking now, it's getting transcribed to the Hindi here. So you can see it in the example, right? So this is one of the real-time example you can see here. So this is all about the speech playground. So, and the next one is the agent playground. The agent playground is the new one. It's getting added and it's still in the preview, but I can show it to you how the agent playground. But the agent topic is a very wide one, so you're not getting into deeper. So here we need to select an OpenAI service. So we have already created one. So I'll select that and click on Let's Go. So it will get loaded. Here we can select our model. So you can deploy a model. So here we have got some models, right? So right now, uh, whatever the models given. So I'll take ChatGPT Turbo and I'll just click confirm. What it'll do, I can just take this model and I can use it. So here it will show all the deployment details. So I'm directly going to deploy this model here. So just click on deploy. I'm not going to customize for now. So this model will get deployed. Okay. So yeah, so model is getting deployed. Since we are in a playground, we can test the model here. So yeah, so this model came out of the model we have used. So I'll give just hi. Let's see whether the model is giving any response. Yeah, the response is getting generated here. So hello, how can I assist you today? So I'm going to ask what is Azure AI Foundry? Give me the answer. Onliner. So when I put this prompt, so it's giving the response. Azure AI Foundry is a platform by Microsoft that offers tools and services for building and deploying AI solutions in the cloud. So we have used the one GPT 3.5 turbo model to build one chat applications, right? So this is all about the playground where we can go ahead and play with the models available. And the next one we are going to see is AI services. So AI services where we can see all the Microsoft related services here. So where we have a speech, translator, vision, and the content safety as well, right? So on clicking the content safety, I'll show you here. So we have a filter, moderation, groundedness, everything it's available. So earlier it's a separate service, now it's part of a Foundry. So when you go here, the speech, whatever we saw in the model playground, right? The same thing will come here when you click on speech, but there you can utilize some models from the different vendors, but this will be specifically for the Microsoft services. So this is all about AI service. And the agent in the playground, we created one agent service, right? So that will get displayed here if you want to do any customization or you want to do any connection edition, so that you can perform it in this agent. So here see we have created it's right now there are two agents available. So whether you want to create a new one or you can go ahead and use it, the exist one, and where you can customize it. You see the model settings, the temperatures, everything you can customize it. And the next one is the code. So the code is something where you can use the pre-built code or the existing codes. Right now we have Azure AI related codes which is already there in the GitHub. You can directly take and utilize in your own project, customize it based on your need. And if you need any tutorial, we have a tutorial available here. And we have for RAG as well and multimodal orchestration. So the code is already available. So just clone this repo and customize it based on your need or your requirement. And the next one is the fine tuning. So where you want to fine tune your models, right? So you can select your models and you can go ahead and fine tune it. So it will display if any models are available or else it's not. So if you want AI service fine tuning, you can select here and you can take it. Right now we don't have any models to fine tune it, so we are going to take. And the next one is the prompt flow where we discussed, right? Where you will do the workflow where we decide a workflow where we put one prompt to the application. That prompt will go to some service and service will return some response. That response we need to send it back to the model will analyze and model will give some response that we need to give it back to the user. So to define or decide all this workflow we can do it in this prompt flow. The orchestration we can decide it here. This is all about the prompt flow. The next one is the tracing. Tracing is also in the preview mode. So this tracing is nothing but it will trace all the activities we are doing it in the project level or even in the hub level, right? So you can select your resource here, or if you don't have, you can create it. So once you created this application inside, it will capture all the logins. It will have the bunch of logs. So who created the model and what type of questions has been put onto the model, what response the model has given, when and what, all those events will be captured in this logs. So there you can help, it will be helpful for troubleshooting your application case if you have any issues or error identified. So this tracing will be really helpful to trace it back. And the next one is the evaluation. So where we can evaluate our models. So that's where about the comparison is where you can compare your models and you can decide which is the right model for my requirement. But here you can evaluate once you done your deployment everything. So you can go ahead and evaluate your models, whether you have a models or prompt, or if you have your own data sets or the prompt flow which you are going to create, everything it can be evaluated here, right? So right now we are not going into deeper. So this is just for an evaluation. So this you want to do an automated evaluation, you can do it, or if you have to do a manual level evaluation, so we have an option. So on selecting this, you'll have set of matrices. You can select on these matrices I want to evaluate, you can do it here. And the next one is safety and security. So Here you can have all the safety related things. It's basically the content safety or what we saw, right? So that's here. So if you want to try it out with a sample, so moderate content text. So here you'll have, so we'll go here content filter. So on clicking new content filter, so you'll select the connections and clicking next. It will show all the categories in the content filter, the four major categories in the content filter, right? Violence, hate, sexual, and self-harm. And based, you can decide the thresholds whether it should be allowed, medium, or blocked, high category. Everything you can decide it here. And you can have a block list as well, so where you are filtering out some of the content, if you want to block some words like a die, suicide, kill, so where you can enable and give your list of words which needs to be blocked from the content, so that you can do it here. So this is all about the safety and security. We have many options. The primary one is the content filter. So you can block list here, you can create a predefined block list and set it up, and you can utilize it in the filter, content filter. So this is all about the safety and security. And the next one is the my assets, model plus endpoints, data indexes, web app. So model and endpoints are nothing, whatever the models we have created earlier, it will be here. We created one agent, right, GPT-35, that will be here. The model has been deployed here. All the deployed models, it will be here in this one. So if you are creating any endpoints, it will be here, and you can see the status, what is the state of that particular model, whether it's a success or failed. In case of failure, it will take you to the tracing, and you can identify, if you have enabled tracing, you can identify it going through the logs. And the next one is data and indexes. This also we discussed. When you have set of data, your model to restrict it to your own organization policy or a data, you can upload your data and you can reference that data sets to your model, and your model will be utilizing it. So all the data sets and the indexes can be defined in this place. And the final one is the web app. So once the model is deployed and we need to create a web app or a containerized service, once we created the web app or containerized service, it will be displayed here. So where we can go out and check the status of the web app or all the details, it will be displayed here. So this is all about the features, the options available in the project level. So when it comes to the hub, so on clicking this management center, it will take you to the hub level resources. So whatever you're seeing in this particular page, it's all related to the hub. So you will have a hub and projects, right? So initially I showed three options. I think I showed two options. On the home page, we'll have a open management center. You can click here or you can go here. The other one is hub plus project at the top. So this is the one. So where we have a quotas. So here we can go ahead and decide what is the quotas are available for the models or the project what we are doing. Everything it will be decided here. And the overview section, let's get loaded. And initially we discussed, right, what we can do with hub, so where we can create a user and give assign specific roles to the user, so that we can do it here. And the overview section, in the same hub we are going to create a new project. So right now I created AI Foundry demo 101. I can create a new project for a logistics, new project for a healthcare, and all clubbed to the same hub or the same development team, so that you can do it here. And the user, where you can create a multiple user and give a set of access to those users, specific permissions, everything. And the models and endpoint, what we saw it in the project level, that will become here as well. So where we can do at hub level scope connections, everything, and all your connected resources available here. If you have used any third-party resources or anything, all or the AI Microsoft related services, it's all displayed here. Your endpoint key, everything here. And the next one is the compute resource. So the computational power, where you want to go and adjust your things, or you want to create a new one, you can go ahead and use it here. Where you want to stop and start everything, it will be. done by compute one. And this is the project related one. So overview user. This is the hub scoped one. This is for the project scope. So this is all about hub. And if you want to go back to the project, you click here. It will take you to the project. On clicking here, Open Management Center, you will get it here, the same window. So if you want to delete any project also, you can click select your project. The project got selected is AI Foundry, and clicking this, it will delete your project. So either you can do it here, or you can go to the portal and select your subscribe your respective project, and you can delete it here. So, so this is the project I have, so I can delete it from the AI portal as well, or you can do it from the Foundry. So that's it I have. So I came to end of this session, and this is my YouTube channel. If you guys are interested in any Azure AI and data related content, you can follow me, and I'll be uploading the technical sessions, hands-on labs, and the certification guidance, all related to Microsoft Azure AI and data. So please subscribe and support me. And if you are particularly looking for this particular session material, the presentation which I was showing in the session, and you can get it from my GitHub profile. You can follow me on the GitHub, and I have a Take Time with Naveen repo where I'll upload all the presentation which I'm taking. So feel free to follow me in the GitHub, and you'll be getting the session materials which you can use it. And once again, thank you everyone for joining this session. And if you have any questions related to AI Foundry, please comment your questions. I'll be answering all your questions. And so again, thank you everyone. Thanks for joining. I will catch up in the next interesting session in upcoming days. Thank you.